Hello everyone, and welcome to a video within a series where we get a chef and a normal home cook to try to recreate a recipe from a very, very old cookbook from the past. There's normally some interesting ingredients, techniques, and sometimes some deciphering of old terminology. So I'm gonna have a lovely time. I think you're gonna have a lovely time. Boys, hopefully you will also have a lovely time. I've placed the book that you'll be reviewing and cooking from today underneath the cloche.
May we?
Is it French?
Bonjour.
I don't know.
Oh, the National Training School for Cookery, Buckingham Palace Road.
How old are we talking?
So this is the
my
ninth
word.
edition of this book, published in 1904. I've put a little bookmark in at the page for the recipe that we'd like you to cook up today.
Does it worry you that as a training school we're skipping the first 7/8 of training and jumping straight
That's
to
how I use a manual. Cold cabinet pudding.
6 Savoys?
So like a store
2...
cabinet.
I don't even know what the first 2 are. The yolks of 4 eggs. I like that. Not 4 egg yolks.
No.
The yolks of 4 eggs. 2 ounces of dried cherries, half a gill of cream. What's a gill? 1 ounce of caster sugar and 1 teaspoon of essence of vanilla.
Okay. I feel like
Start.
Barry's going to be as useful as I am.
I mean,
Before you get stuck into the recipe itself, I'll give you all of the ingredients. You can see if you can join some dots.
okay.
Right. He's been kind to us for once.
Oh, we're making trifle. Ooh.
I know. You've been shopping at the Wizard of Oz.
It's
No,
plutonium.
that's kryptonite, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's it taste of?
What is that?
But if it's kryptonite, keep it away from Superman
He's nowhere
or Clark
here, mate.
Kent.
What the heck is that?
Interestingly, it's not in the ingredients list, I don't think, unless that is a Savoy. But I think, now I've seen them, I reckon this is a Savoy.
That's a ladyfinger.
Yeah. Similar here. Where are we talking? So this is 1904, but it's the 9th edition, so it's been tweaked. But when was it first written? It's Victorian, right?
So the National Training School of Cookery was established in 1873. So we're talking
Queen Victoria's latter years.
a 20-year period in and around that.
So
Vanilla, we get all the rest. I hope it's French gelatine, because it specifically says so.
what's that?
What does it taste of?
It's like candified celery.
It's like Angelica.
Ebbers, that is Angelica.
What's Angelica?
I've got no idea, but I read it on the second line of here.
It's a plant often found in the wild near European rivers. The stems were used to decorate cakes, and it was often candied in order to preserve it. That is Angelica.
So it's why it does look like
Gotcha.
a stalk or a stem
Yeah.
of celery. I reckon we make a nice pretty base, i.e. we ornament our bottom, with cherries and Angelica. Then we put these around the sides,
Oh, yeah!
alternating front and back.
Then a jellied cream in the middle.
Then we fill the ratafias in the middle, and then we fill it with a jellied cream, or a cream custard that's set with gelatin.
That's
and then
good.
we leave it to set in the cabinet, and we turn it out and go, ta-da!
I think the only way of finding out whether you're right is to do all of those things that you've said.
Split the Savoys in half and line the sides of the mould round with them very evenly. Arrange them alternately back and front next to the tin.
So one thing I must say is we, being me and the food team, decided to use these fingers for this particular recipes, but Savoys actually came as big, large, round cakes as well at the time. For those of you wondering at home, this is what it's supposed to look like.
Do you reckon we want to alternate them? So when you turn them out, you can see both from the top. Because I reckon you probably want to see both. Because that's all well and good, but when you turn it out, you'll only see Angelica,
You weren't
not
sure,
cherries.
you weren't happy with how I've ornamented your bottom?
No, I'd like my bottom more symmetrically
He
ornamented.
needs more variety on his bottom.
Okay, cool, okay, right. So striped cherry.
Yeah.
Now you
Or like this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just thinking back to the
okay.
Victorian times where everything was just like make a star of something or other, or
So why was it back then everything's candied?
So the majority of the reasons these are candied is preservation.
Okay.
And this recipe itself was actually created to use up cakes.
it looks good.
Yeah.
See, I much prefer my bottom to your bottom.
Also, this was very much a winter pudding. because of the lack of availability of fresh fruit and ingredients between the months of March and May into the summer. You're placing fingers all the way around.
Yeah, I'm putting the cut side up because later on that will be down. You stack them in, I'll chop them off.
Okay. Or snacking digits.
Nice. Put in the ratafias. Yeah, that
The bit so far, it's an elaborate biscuit tin. This is bonkers.
out there.
Okay.
Have you tried a ratafia?
No, didn't actually.
Do, because
Ooh.
it was what's considered one of the early iterations of the macaron.
Yeah, I get it.
So
I get
almond
it.
flour.
More biscuity macaron.
What's next?
Put 4 yolks of eggs into a basin. Stir in the milk and pour this mixture into a jug. Stand the jug in boiling water and stir it until it thickens, taking care that it does not curdle.
Is it creating a, well, it's a water bath, isn't
It's a
it?
bain-marie, yeah.
But a bain-marie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that needs to go back in there. I think that would now typically just go over there and slowly thicken. And that's not to curdle.
Doesn't feel weird enough so far.
No,
Have you seen the rest of the book?
I mean, you've, look at the bowl.
I know. I feel like we could have had more Angelica and more cherries in there and more pizzazz.
You've still got time.
The pizzazz, I think, is really just there for top decoration. It is mostly in French as titles. So even back then, we were basically using our training exercise of High Class Cookery on French cuisine.
Yeah, and interestingly, although the title of the book is High Class Cookery, it was aimed at the time at working class women. And I quote this from the school: to ensure for the working man a wholesome meal nicely prepared, which will support the nourishment that he requires to enable him to do a hard day's work. The lassitude produced by bad food and hard work is a constant source of the craving of stimulants which drives the working man to the public house. This teaching will end to lessen this evil and improve the health of the people. So essentially what they're saying is, by being able to cook better for your husband, you'll stop him going to the pub.
Right. I don't disagree with that.
Of a
What?
time.
Hear me out. Remove the woman and the man from it and have
The
person.
views expressed here are purely Barry Taylor's
No,
and not very
seriously.
sorted.
Remove gender and
Remove
it's
gender.
exactly the
It's a
same.
good point.
Yeah.
I'm more excited by other things in this book. Ox tongue, shoulder of mutton, and lark pudding, for which you need 6 larks. Don't let that curdle. While you're doing that, melt the gelatin in a little water and strain it into the custard. Half an ounce.
So provided to you in leaves, but at the time they would have used a French gelatin powder. But they would have still had access to
Either
gelatin.
way, because of the era, I'm guessing it's a solid jelly.
Read the book.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of gelatin, isn't it?
Half an ounce. 4 should definitely set it, possibly even be a little bit over. Should we do 3.5?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll make a huge difference.
This entire book, even though
Titles are in French,
Yeah.
instructions in English.
and the method is very short. Like these aren't complicated recipes at all.
They aren't, but they are. There's a lot of presumed knowledge.
Yeah.
In terms of weights and measurements, what does it provide you with?
They're all weights and measures, interestingly, that we continue to use. So far, we've done ounces and pints. We get to a gill in a minute, and I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either, but I do know what a gill is.
Ah.
As a chef, are we still pretty much following techniques that are prevalent today?
Yes, but only because we are taught still French method. So this is a set gelatin mix, but then once it's cold, we add the cream and the vanilla and anything else. If you do it with whipped cream, you start to make almost like a bavois, which again, not a French term, but it feels very within reach, but only because I was taught the French way in higher education, not the French way in high class cookery.
The National Training School of Cookery was aimed exactly at people like you, Ebbers, teaching persons desirous of acquiring a knowledge of the principles of cooking.
So the bit that's confusing me here, but the cabinet bit, because I presumed it would, I don't know, set at room temperature, but it still needs a cool place to set on ice.
Yeah, when was the fridge invented?
I don't know.
Not then.
Not then. So it's just leaving it in.
Not then, but they weren't
Refrigerator.
commonplace in
Yeah.
homes then.
So this is just that. Is that
So
why
put it
this-
in a cold cabinet
Okay.
as opposed to a fridge.
Right.
I.e. a cabinet that's got a bit of ice in the corner.
So interestingly, when you read the title, cold cabinet pudding, you think, is this saying it's a cold pudding that utilises ingredients from my cabinet? No.
No, you just need a cold cabinet.
You need a cold cabinet in order to make the pudding.
Oh,
We
right,
now plug-
okay.
we
I
now-
read that completely wrong. You're right. Okay. Where's the coldest cabinet here?
Well, it's plugged in there. It goes down to about 3 degrees. So I've just moved to the spatula just so we don't put as many air bubbles into it so we can see the consistency. Because we're probably not far off.
You need to use a gill of cream. How much would you think that would be, now understanding a bit more of the context of the recipe?
Well, half a gill of cream, and it doesn't specify whether the cream, which in my mind should be whipped, so that you're stirring in softly whipped cream. But it doesn't say that. So as it is, you're just enriching it. I don't know, because interesting, we've only put 3.5 in there to measure out that and that liquid. So whatever we add, we haven't done enough gelatin for now. Hang on, put that one in.
I'm also thinking there ain't much room in our bowl.
Oh, there's loads. You
gonna
seen how many
soak.
bubbles there are on these biscuits?
So you reckon let it soak in?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to soak in and then it's going to set the insides with gelatin.
Oh,
Yummy.
well.
I think we're almost there. Much more than it might curdle.
So a gill was originally used in the 14th century to measure servings of wine or whiskey. And it ensured fair portions.
So a bucket. Nice. Let's add some vanilla in either way. How much vanilla would you like to add? Because it asks for 1 teaspoon of essence of vanilla.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yummy, yummy, yum. I think vanilla might be one of my favourite ingredients. And we treat it as, oh, that's so vanilla. That's so boring.
You are very vanilla.
Yeah, but vanilla is exquisite.
Exquisite. You called yourself exquisite.
No, I called vanilla exquisite. So, a gill of wine or whiskey. So whiskey, 50 ml, a bit double shot, 75 if you're looking at, what's a dram? And we only want half of that, so it's not much at all. Maybe 2.
A gill is a quarter of a pint.
That's
not
a lot
shot.
of whiskey.
It was
So it's
tough
not
times, Ebbers. It was tough times.
It's not a single serve.
Okay.
Take a quarter and then do half of that, Barry.
Yep. Thanks, mate. Brilliant.
It's a big shot.
So, lovely. When it's coolish, add that and 1 ounce of caster sugar. Interestingly, they had caster sugar back then as well, as opposed to just granulated. I'm going a little bit more than 1 because we tend to use dessert spoons now. The tablespoon is almost defunct. They're now more serving spoons. Our spoons have got smaller over time, so that is no longer the 25 grams you'd associate a tablespoon with. I don't think, as a dessert goes, that's at all sweet enough until you pour it over all of that and it takes on all
And
of that
that,
sugar.
and that.
But now hopefully this will fill up a pint mould.
No way. Ooh,
Oh,
yeah,
the-
okay, they float. Interesting.
They're full of air. Get rid of that air.
Right, go, keep going. Keep going. Whoa.
And then I reckon if we put that in the fridge, that will set up.
It's been over 2 hours. That has definitely set.
Well and truly.
Now, it's about finding out how close you got. I have the picture.
Well, we're going to have to loosen it.
Yeah.
And then I think it's like a turn and shake. The problem is we've got sticky cherries and Angelica on the
I
bottom.
know, there's so much to stick to the bowl. Oh, blimey, that's close.
Right. Have we got enough warmth there now to soften the edges? Why do we choose to do this one with a live audience? Right. What could possibly go wrong?
Nope.
So what I need is
What are you doing?
like the old panna cotta trick. No, I'm going to go with more of that. Remember, this is what the high class societies would want.
Right, okay. Because of the biscuits in it as well, it's like they've expanded as well as the jelly solidifying.
But you weighed them out perfectly, didn't you, Baz? So you
Yeah,
you used the exact right amount.
This.
Oh!
And I missed the middle of the plate.
Wow!
Once you get over the success of it coming out, have you had a chance to look at it yet?
Boys, cold cabinet pudding.
I'm not sad about it.
Well, will you be sad or thrilled when I reveal that it should look like this?
I think we've done a better job. That looks like it's been left out of the cold cabinet too long. Should we see if we get a cross section?
Oh, dear.
Oh. Oh.
It looks like an omelette.
That last bit of custard, maybe if we'd have been more patient with it, we'd have got that to absorb as well.
Yeah.
Because the problem is the sponge fingers are spongy and soft now, but the middles are still a bit crunchy, which is why it didn't cut through.
Give me some of the Angelica.
And I want a cherry on the top. Cheers.
Cheers.
Nothing wrong with that. That's comforting. It's sweet, it's stodgy, it's sticky.
I was really concerned it would be too gelatinous
No.
and wouldn't be sweet enough, but it's absolutely not. It's like a
Very
panna
sweet.
cotta.
Yeah, it's a vanilla
Texture.
panna cotta with a bit of cake in it.
Yeah.
And the cake gives you that slightly soggy, wet sponge that you get in a trifle when it absorbs the jelly. This time it's absorbed the cream jelly. Quite like it, it's just a shame it looks the way it does.
Yeah. Well, you're up against it from the beginning.
I'm excited to think what else is in the first sort of 7/8 of that book before we skim to lesson 249.
If my wife made me this when I got home,
You go to the pub.
You go to the pub. Well, on that note, I think we're done.